I really did not want to make this video. Over the last couple 4 months, in general, just everything that I've been going through, it's been pretty hard, and I want to clarify and confront and tell you guys and share with you guys a serious story that's really, really serious, and things to come forth, and I think it'll help me mentally for my mental health be for the best. This story is literally about my toxic roommate that literally has been diagnosed as a child predator, and I am so sorry to all of his friends, all of his family, whoever's going to see this video. All I want to say is I'm very sorry, and it has to come forth, and it's very serious. The last 4 months before I left Florida, I wanted to move back to Missouri because I wanted to see my friends, and I did have an opportunity up there, and I was just messing my friends, and I ended up moving up there literally just to kind of stay closer to them. But unfortunately, with all this bullshit that went down during those last 4 months, it didn't work out that way. When I moved up there, literally when I first moved up there, I was actually staying with a friend that was a friend's parents' house, and they were willing to help me and get on my feet and be able to move up on there and get an apartment. Because unfortunately, when I didn't get an apartment, I didn't have enough money, or didn't get to sign a lease. And my God, I should have signed a lease. That was my fault. But anyways, I literally went up there, and I actually stayed with this friend's parents' house for a couple weeks, and it ended up turning to be like a month. Unfortunately, the parents of my friend I was staying with, her parents, they were really different and strict about all the things. They were super, super, super strict and kind of harsh. That literally, they were originally going to give me a couple months to save some money and work full time, but unfortunately, they ended up pretty much kicking me out for about after a month, and that really sucked. And so forth. I actually moved out and then went to go stay at another friend's house, and unfortunately that didn't work out either. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is I was literally at a point where I discovered about to be homeless about 2 or 3 times during that 4 months, and I should have not done it, but I went through it. And unfortunately, I actually stayed with my older sister's house at the time, and she was older, but unfortunately she was actually moving back down here to Florida where I'm at now, with just be happy in that state, because for some reason everyone in my family wanted to go live in the state for mainly the weather and the opportunities. In my mind, I was thinking, what am I going to do? I might have to live in my car, I might have to be homeless. I just don't know. It was just a really scary situation. And at my work, I met a person. I'm not going to say his full name, but I'm going to go by his initials, and his name was DT. I met him at work, just working in retail in general mainly, and he was all right at first. His personality was very outgoing. He was very kind of nice. He was a little too outspoken, but other than that, at first we got along pretty good. He was a pretty nice guy. He seemed pretty smart at the time, but unfortunately it went down to a downward spiral really fast. But he was just a guy who just seemed kind of nice. He looked a little shady, but he had a little bit of piercings and stuff, but he just didn't show any red flags immediately, and he seemed all right. And eventually, I don't know how, but I actually told him, unfortunately, that I was going to live in my car, and he apparently experienced being homeless, and he told me that I wasn't going to live in my car because he actually nicely offered me a place to stay, and unfortunately I should have not taken that offer. At first we were getting along so good when we first moved in, but he had some major red flags, to the point out of the roof when I stepped in foot of his place. Literally, he had nasty trash on the floor. He would put his marijuana and stuff in a bong all on the floor. He had no spot or no shelf really. He'd put his stuff. He had this little rack of stuff on the floor full of drugs, of dabs and stuff, and it was just super super messy at the time, and I was so desperate to stay up there with seeing with my friends just until I get my own place that I just dealt with it. And unfortunately, no, I should have not done it, but I still regret it to this day. I didn't have a bed, but I slept on his couch because he offered me his couch to sleep on. I thought that was kind of cool, but I was also paying like $250 in rent at the time, or 300 around there, and it was all good and fine. But the first another red flag I realized is this dude was almost 30 years old and he didn't have a driver's license or a car, and that kind of made me question a little bit, because the original deal we had was I would give him rides to work because we worked together, and he'd give me a place to stay and help me get on my feet. And honestly, that sounds like a pretty fair trade. But then over time, I've come to realize that I think he was taking advantage of my rides in the situation, because he told me how he got his driver's license suspended by he had his driver's license suspended, by the way. His driver's license was suspended for literally like getting into like a wreck with his mom's car or something like that. And not even that, he also got into a wreck, not even a wreck, but like he just got caught driving with a suspended license, and he ended up getting it suspended. So he went to a point where he was literally just driving illegally with other people's cars. We had another roommate eventually come in, and she was driving her car, which is, I think, in my opinion, fucking stupid. But anyways, he was driving her car sometimes to work with, and I just can't get my mind around it. It's just crazy. After a couple weeks of like talking and hanging out at work and stuff, we were actually kind of getting along really well for a while. Like, I have actual video evidence and like photo pictures of this dude, what he looks like, so I'll show you what he looks like. And therefore, also, if DT, if you're watching this, I can show your face, but I cannot necessarily give out all your public information, because I'm not going to do that to you. So if you're watching this, I can show your face and what we did with videos I did, and I can show you how you acted if you're watching this. Another red flag I experienced when working with him was he would admit the things that's extremely messed up. Like at his previous jobs, he used to work at a job at AutoZone, and apparently he said at AutoZone that he loved working with cars and stuff, like car parts and selling them. But it's just AutoZone, you're just selling parts and stuff. You really don't need like a degree or nothing to get into AutoZone. It's just a job for part-timers, and they don't really like do full-timers. And unfortunately, with DT's mindset, he had this severe know-it-all attitude. No joke. He acted like he knew everything. I don't know as much life experience as he has, but he thinks like so like cocky and just really arrogant about everything. Like for when he has to help me with something, or for example, I remember literally at the kitchen when I'd put my dishes up, I have a hard time finding where he put his bowls or whatever, because this dude had OCD really bad. Like, it's another red flag. I should have fucking took a notice, but you don't really know somebody till you live with them, and that's true. And literally with his OCD and shit, he'd be like, the bowls and items go right here, and then he would be really demanding, and I'd be like, okay, like I'm a pretty patient dude. I'm like, no joke, he straight up told me, and Dick always told me this, to open my eyes. Like, dude, that's a fucking dick move. Like, for me, I am sorry, I'm not that type of dude to get super like offended over stuff or angry. I have a lot of patience with people like that, and I've learned that I'm too nice. I admit I am too nice, and I'm trying to get better with that. And no joke, this fucker tells me to open my eyes. Like, he do this constantly. It mentally fucks you up after a while. It really gets to you. And not only that, he would also like he also would also try to make me think that something was wrong with me. Like, just because I'm a really scatterbrained person, and I have this habit of sometimes forgetting stuff on the floor, or leaving like laundry and stuff. And no joke, he would like, at one point, he pretty much told me that he was convinced that I was on the spectrum of like autism, and it was not true. I didn't believe that, but he tried to manipulate and convince me that I was on the spectrum of autism, and in a way, it kind of hurts your feelings. Just thinking like that, I've been going through just. He was very emotionally abusive. He told me about his past, about his family members, and how he was mentally abused, physically abused, and verbally abused. And ironically, I worked at a grocery store before this company I worked with now, and with him, and I happened to work with his mom at a part-time gig, and I knew his mom a little bit, but I didn't know that was what was going on, and I felt bad a little bit, but at the same time, I don't. I mean, she kind of created a monster for what this dude DT was. And no joke, with everything, sorry, I kind of lost thought of what I was thinking, and that's my example of being scatterbrained. My mind races at like 1,000,000 miles per hour because of like slight ADHD and stuff, but that's not an excuse. I'm just saying that I'm very scatterbrained. But anyways, what I've noticed is I don't think he realized that all of what he was going through with his traumatic childhood and his experiences and stuff. And at one point, he actually was kicked out at 17 for being homeless. And I don't know if it was his mom's fault or he just assumed it was her fault, but I don't really care. But it really rubbed off on him. Like, I don't think he realizes that was being emotionally abusive. Like, it was also getting to a point, like, he did some nice things. Like, he taught me how to cook a little bit. I had a hard time cooking. I just didn't really have a lot of time to learn it when I was living with my parents the first time. And he did a good thing by teaching me how to cook something basic. He was good at that. He was actually good at cooking. But unfortunately, he was an asshole about it. He was like, I'll tell you an example. Literally, he would tell me and brag about, oh, how I'm super independent and you were never ready to move out, and you're just a guy who sleeps on my couch. Yeah, he used to jokingly say stuff like that to me. Like, as a joke, I thought it was like, haha, okay, it was funny, but he would constantly say that, and then realizing, I don't think he was joking. I think he was actually saying mean shit because that's his coping, and he takes it out on other people, and that really is kind of fucked up because after what ended and happened, I believe he was not joking, I don't think. And he would constantly, if I screwed up something, even at this other job I worked at with him, coworkers were fucking mean. Not all of them, but they weren't mean, but they were like extremely stern. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, I had people tell me, mainly, this kind of bothered me because of this repetition of hearing it, feeling like I wasn't good enough. Hearing DT and a few coworkers tell me to get my head out of my ass. Like, I get it. I have focusing problems, but sometimes I can't help how I think or how I focus or how I try to do stuff. I'm not there to like telling other people what to do. Like, I know my other coworker, he works out, and he told me that, but I know he doesn't mean it the way DT tells me. He was just doing it because he's been through a lot of stuff too, and he just wants me to succeed, and I get that. If you're watching this, shout out to you. No hard feelings. It's not about you, it's about DT. And the way DT would do it was he just degraded me, just pretty much shot a lot of self-esteem down when I was there. And I don't think many people at my job realized that, or they saw it but didn't really realize that they noticed. But it was just a bad situation, And you're probably wondering, on the title of this video, it says the predator who was my roommate. Well, I got also proof of how he would act with other coworkers. This roommate from my job, which I should have never moved in with again, like I said, literally would flirt with like people way under his age. Oh shit, the lighting. It was bad, like no joke. He's almost 30 years old, and he would like flirt with like 16-year-old girls and 17, like stuff like that. And he's actually, another red flag, he's actually admitted to me that over the age of 21, that, no joke, he slept with a few minors illegally, and he like bragged about it like it was like something he's accomplished. Like, I don't know how fucking sick and twisted you have to be to like brag about something like that, but that's really fucked up. And I feel sorry for his friends, because his friends, I've seen, like, I never met all of his friends. I met one, and I'm not going to say his name, but he seemed similar to me, kind of calm, quiet, can be, not as outgoing as me, but I feel for you, and I'm sorry that, I don't know if you even know, but I'm sorry that you have to watch this. And his other good friend, whoever it was, he has a beard. I'm sorry for you too, and I don't mean any harm feelings. I'm just addressing what happened, and I need to get it off my mind. I didn't realize this was going on until I realized some of my co-workers, like, they knew I was his roommate and stuff. Some of the underage girls have come up to me and talked to me, and they were like complaining and telling me that they've been getting text messages from DT hitting on them and not harassing them, maybe harassing them, but hitting on them, texting of sexual stuff that's not appropriate for their age gap, and obviously not being just a coworker. And I knew he wasn't I knew he wasn't just being friendly with them, because there'd be times he'd tell me he want to bang this girl no matter how old she was, or blah blah blah, and I just can't wrap my mind around it. And then not only that, he even attempted to pursue a girl, one of our coworkers, and I was really good friends with her. I still am. I hope she's doing well, but and I just don't see, like, for me, I have, like, there's times where I've liked people that were underage. Like, if I was talking to them, I got to know their personality and stuff, but then I find out about their age. I just can't feel comfortable doing that. I know it's wrong. It's wrong. And I even told, one time there was one of the coworkers that was flirting with me. I ended up liking her, but not for that reason that DT did, but it was for her. But I told her she was too young, and I'm glad I did that, and I feel good. And it just sucks that I've had people do that to me. And yeah, he pursued one of the underage girls. He somehow, I guess one of them told her his address or whatever, and he literally went to her house. He didn't have a car, so when I was asleep, he walked to her house. No joke. And it is really sad. And I'm going to show you right now some text messages about that whole conversation. And DT at that point told me not to tell anybody. And I feel bad, because I should have told somebody and I didn't. But now, since this is all over, I'm going to fucking show all the text messages that him and I had conversations with. I'll blur out his full name on the messages. So the text message and conversation started like this. So I have a question. Do you think that you'd be able to pick me up before you went into work, and I wouldn't go to work with you, and then I can just walk to wherever I need to get to? Because if I start walking now, I'm not going to be able to do everything for the rent and the new apartment stuff. And then that's when I asked him, where are you at? And then DT says, 1 second, I know that I am like 10 minutes away from the apartment by car. I guess I didn't read that right, so I said, like walking minutes or driving? And then he goes, fuck it. I'm at her house. Do you remember how to get here? This is the girl that he was like bragging to pursue and stuff. And the night before that, her parents were cool. What she did was, there was a thunderstorm happening. And her parents invited me over to stay for the night. Not the night, but like stay for a thunderstorm warning, because this apartment I stayed in had no shelter. And she just felt bad, and so I went over there and at her parents, and her parents were fine with it. And we just sat out the storm, and then I left that night, and that's all happened then. But the difference was, he walked to her house, like no parents inviting him over, no parents' permission. He snuck in a 16-year-old girl's house. And to me, that is like mind-blowing. And I was shocked when he told me he was at her house. I was like, how did you get her address? And why are you even over there? And he defended his ass off. I feel like he was hiding something. He was saying that he went over there to just cuddle. Thinking back at that, I don't think he was just going there to just cuddle. And unfortunately, this girl's young, and I don't think she realizes how fucked up this was, but he is literally like almost ruined her fucking life. And I feel like, and it's messed up. It's really messed up. And it just blows my mind. The text message there proved right there, and it's just wow. It's just wow. So on these text messages, for continuation, he also goes, "Yeah, that's my co-buddy," because I asked if he was at her house, because I was shocked. And he goes, "I'm using her comfy bed, and she knows this." And this was awkward. I did an awkward one-word reply of LMAO, like, how else am I going to like comprehend that? I didn't want to leave him on red immediately, so I just tried to see what he would say next. I sent him that, and then he goes, "But do you remember how to get here?" And I said yes, because I literally, like I said, fucking damn it, the lighting. I need to turn off my display sleeping mode, Jesus. And here we go. Fuck it, jeez. Yeah, stop sleeping. Sorry about that. The monitor just likes to go to sleep, and it's annoying because I'm using it as my lighting. So then I asked, how did you get there? And he said, I walked through the walls, which was obviously he walked there. And as a joke, I said, "Are you Danny Phantom?" He goes, "Nope." He goes, but she let me in. And that was a mistake on her part. Like, I know she's only 16, but man, she should have known better. And you should have known better. I'm sorry, but you should have. Yeah, that's big mistake number one. And he says, "I went through the back door, but when you get here, just let me know when you're here, so don't even knock on the door." I said, "Well, obviously, why'd I knock on the door? They're fucking, this dude." I said, "Okay," and it goes, and then that day I apparently puked or something. I don't remember what happened after that. I just screenshotted the scenario. Unfortunately, my fucking dumbass self, I picked him up because I didn't want to deal with the drama of him being late for work, and I was his only ride, and I should have told someone sooner. And the only reason why I didn't tell anyone is because I was living with him and then trying to get the fuck out of there, and it was a disaster. And this was not the only time he's acted this way with other people. I've actually have other evidence of him that I found on accident on Facebook, of someone screenshotted of him hitting on a girl and admitting to banging another underage girl through text message. But first, to give you a more realistic idea of how he acted and who he was, I'm going to show you all these video clips I showed, just with no context or nothing, just to show you just how he acted that what I've been claiming of him, like being a know-it-all, manipulative, and emotionally abusive, that I wanted to give you guys an idea of what he was like. And I thankfully, because I was just joking, we're making like Snapchat videos, that you get to see what he was like.
He wants to murder me.
Not murder. I want to have fun enjoying the death of you. There's
that's
a difference.
that's the same fucking thing.
No, it's not, because it's a party in my pants and you're not invited.
Oh, okay.
DT got whittled, scared.
You get set on fire, bitch?
No?
I'll set your ass on fire.
Okay. That didn't even hurt. Alright, he says hi.
Hi, I can't do it anymore. How are you doing today? Jungle Blue, he's tickling his very soul from his fucking corpse. These walls dying inside these walls.
Okay, guys, what did you think? Do you kind of see the picture and idea what I'm getting at, just by the way he kind of looks and acts? Like I said, the first clip, he's kind of nice, like he seemed kind of nice, but then it's like the more you deep down you go, and behind every meeting and things he says and stuff, I felt like something was more mentally unstable, more psychotic feeling, like this dude was deep down legit. Finally, I decided. My younger sister was living in Missouri with her boyfriend still, and I decided to reach out to her and tell her what's been going on. And thankfully, she actually messaged DT on Facebook. I got her to message him. I didn't necessarily ask her to, I just told her, and she kind of did it on her own. And literally, they got into a really nasty argument. I don't even want to like show everything, but he was like claiming that I was like the nasty, messy roommate and stuff. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like some of the stuff, like sometimes I have this habit of leaving, like I don't leave like a bunch of clothes on the floor, but sometimes when I'm taking a shower, sometimes I'll leave like one pair of underwear or a whole set of clothes, not a whole set, but like a shirt or a pair of underwear, usually what I wake up in. And I don't necessarily do it on purpose, and I can admit to that. I even told him I'm sorry. I'll clean it up, but I just don't. I'm just super everywhere, and I know that that's not okay. But I'm not going to make excuses and say I wasn't doing my part completely. But I know that I did come around to cleaning it up, and I'm sorry. But yeah, that's how he was like, and. But then he started like, you'd get really, really controlling too. Like I was nice enough to let him use my PS4 to play like Apex Legends, some video games, mainly games he had that he hadn't had with the previous whatever relationship he was in or whatever. He took advantage of that completely, and how I know he did. I felt like since he was so like the way he acted, he was super controlling. I just felt like I felt guilty for asking if I could get on my own PlayStation. From my own PlayStation, I felt guilty of asking to get on and play it, and he just hogged it, and he took advantage of it definitely. And he may not think so, and I don't give a shit, but that's how I felt. And I have really bad anxiety when it comes to these type of people, and I never really dealt with that before, and so my anxiety was above the roof because I don't know what he's going to do. I didn't know he was a very unpredictable person, and I can see some of the good in him, but at the same time it's just way too much bad, and I'm not even sorry at this point. So after a couple more weeks of just dealing with these night-long shifts and hanging out, and it started getting to me really bad, telling me to get my head in my ass. It started getting really bad when I wrecked my car, and that was very unfortunate. And when I called him to let him know that I wrecked it, he acted like it was more of a freaking burden of my car being wrecked than my health. His words were, "Well, you're alive," and that's true. I am alive, but he literally had no consideration of my health. I felt like he may say, but I can tell he had no consideration. He literally just was more upset about literally my fucking car being wrecked that I was giving him free rides with, and I should have charged him like gas money or something, but he would turn around and give me that I'm giving you a place to live mentality. And fuck, man, don't ever be roommates with a coworker if you don't know him well enough, please. And yeah, so what led to the whole downfall of this whole living with him situation was after buying my car and stuff, and then after the drama with my sister and him caused, he actually messaged me without getting my side of the story or whatever, because I did at the time. I was working. I didn't know she did message him. I just told her like last night, and I can tell you word for word what he said on text message, and it was just, it's fucked up. He messaged me out of nowhere at work saying, we are going to have a house meeting and I need you to be here tonight. He was like demanding, like I was like he was a mom or something. And I said, okay, like way later, and I said, but how come? He goes, are you at lunch? I said, no, I'm back from lunch, but I just now saw this. He goes, okay, I just have a few things to say. He goes, don't talk about me behind my back. If you have a problem with me, talk to my face, and I'm tired of having to repeat myself. And I will not say this again, so I need for you to listen and pay attention. And I'm just like, I didn't even say anything. I wasn't talking bad about his back. I was just telling the whole situation of what was happening. And obviously this text message right here is obviously proof. And I'm not spreading bullshit. It's all the facts I'm giving out. He starts saying that I need you to start remember that you to leave your dirty clothes. Stop leaving your dirty clothes in my bathroom. He goes, you need to remember that I'm also part of the apartment. If you don't want to be here, then leave. Like demanding stuff. And I was super confused because what was going on was I felt, because he was giving me rides with this other roommate's car that he has suspended driver's license with, which again is stupid. That no joke, he when we were getting rides to work, I literally felt super uncomfortable living there at that point, that I literally would lie. And he didn't like lying, but this is to protect my mental health and stuff. I'd lie and say I'd go out to a friend's house and hang out with them to look for a car, and that wasn't the truth. And the truth was I was did it to get away from him in the whole living situation, the toxic mindset he has, and this emotional abusive personality that he doesn't even know he has. And I was getting really, really down and started walking my way home from work. Why? It's how uncomfortable, and I don't like talking to people about my issues, but I'm just saying that that's what happened. And I didn't reach out to nobody and didn't want to. And then what led to the downfall of this whole thing, because I started like my job from work to there was like at least like 5 miles driving, so it was about 3 or 4 hour walk every time. And I was just getting really down in the dumps. I just wasn't feeling good about myself. And no joke, at the end of the whole tenure, at the beginning of August, this is when things went severely downhill. At the end of my shift one night, the very last night I stayed with his house and slept on his couch, literally, he would, no joke, he got upset about my car because I bought a car and stuff with my whole name and title like within a short span of a month, and this dude never had a car the whole time because he's a fucking bum. And I don't know, and he was like trashing my car. Like when I first picked him up, he was like saying it was a bad car and shit like that. And what happened was it didn't get bad until I made a mistake. I used to have a 2007 nice Chevy Cobalt, so it never had battery issues. But when I bought this car, it had a battery issue, and I made the first rookie mistake with this old car. It's a 1998 Ford Taurus, okay? And literally, I drove. I listened to music on my break, and and I didn't have the engine on, and I didn't realize that on these older cars it drains batteries. Like, it's a little mistake, I didn't know. He literally gets super upset because he's like acting like a fucking little kid, that he's super irritated because I had to work an extra 20 minutes after my shift because that's my job. And he was like saying he's super irritated because he can't have his dabs or his drugs or whatever, acting like a little kid. So what he would do is my car wouldn't start because the battery's dead. So he got really upset. He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he started like degrading me emotionally, making me feel like shit. He started going up to coworkers saying, "This dumbass draining the battery. Can you put in a barbed wire, not barbed wire, hot wire the car, or whatever the fuck it's called, the little things that amp up the car." I'll figure it out after I'm done editing the name of it. Yeah, he just degraded me and like was telling all my coworkers stuff about it, like because they were sitting outside after the shift, making me feel like crap. So then that's when I texted my sister that I need to leave, and that's not what caused the whole downfall. What caused the complete downfall was that night I said, "Hey, I want to go to bed," and he goes, "Okay," but he got really mad. He threw the remote against the wall or on the couch. It wasn't super hard, but it was enough to convince me that he was angry at something. And he ran to his room and he slammed the door, and then he's like mercifully started like talking to himself, like not fast, but like very loud enough to hear it, but it's like a big mumble. It's like a but you can kind of hear a word here and there for what the words. And no joke, he started like talking, and then around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, he opens his door, walks outside, and slams the door angry, and it scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if he was mad at me, or if he was mad at whoever, but all I know is he called my car junk, and he put me down, and he degraded and humiliated me. And what I realized was I said, "Calm down." I hope he wasn't mad at me. I just wanted to follow him really bad outside, but I didn't, and I went back to sleep. And I woke up the next morning because I had to go to the bank, and no joke, I turn on my car, it works, but I've noticed my aux cord was missing, my little thing, because I never unplugged my car, and my car doors are locked. And also, when I went to go drive, I heard a loud on the right side of the car, like a loud like vibrating noise, like something was going on. And I realized, because I took off, because what he did was he let the air out of my tires. And I don't have proof, but I have a good idea of why he did it and how it was him. Because all the scenarios of him being angry that night before, to call my car trash before that and stuff like that. He also he literally he, like I said, stormed out the door, and no joke, I go inside to look for the aux cord because I had a feeling it was him, because who else would have been out there, right? He was sleeping in his bed. So what I did was I went inside to go see him, and then this is when my heart like sank really low, and it really gave me an idea it was him. I found my mini aux cord on the right side of his bed, and my tires on that side of that car were flat, and I didn't know what he used to air out my tires with, but I knew it was him, and I was severely angry. So what I did was I tried to be as calm as I can, but I just had enough. It was just bottled up feelings, just everything. I shake him, not shake him, but I get him enough. He's a heavy sleeper. I get him awake just enough. He hated me waking him up. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. He slept in until pretty much he had to go to work, and he hated waking up really because he didn't have his weed. I'm like, fuck you. And anyways, I wake him up and I confront him about it. I go, dude, did you let the air out of my car, tires out of my car? He goes, no, why? I go, on the right side of my car, both my front and the back are flat. And he was like getting all aggressive, and he was like saying that, why are you accusing me? And he goes, you know what? And he was like saying that I crossed the line because I disturbed his sleep. Like, boo hoo, grow the fuck up. He's acting like a little kid when he says that. And no joke, I call him, I go, that's when I said, you know what, that's when it came to realize, I go, you're a fucking psychopath. He's like, I'll show you what a fucking psychopath is. And he pushes me, starts putting his hands on me. And before all this, he was saying that he was super independent like an adult, but adults don't touch other people, put their hands on people like that, especially touching little kids, dude. And I'm sorry. And the most fucked up part is this guy had a son himself, and it makes me absolutely pissed off that he would do something to someone else's kid, but have no consideration still because he has one himself, but he never saw him because he was a deadbeat piece of shit. So yeah, he started yelling at me saying that I'm not worth my time. I'm like, I don't want to fight. I knew it was him, but I wasn't looking to fight, but he wanted to fight like an immature child. And so what I did was he told me I have 2 weeks to move out, and I told him, you know what, I have about 24 fucking hours, because before that, the night before, I texted my best friend and told him, hey, I need to leave, can I stay with you? I didn't want to stay with him, but he actually offered that place to me because I was telling him what was going on, and he offered it to me, and I'm really thankful for him. So we got out of there as fast as we can, and that was the end of it. He slipped my tires on my car. What happened was I found someone to put the donut on my tires, like a donut spare tire on my tire, and just was thankfully the other one didn't have a hole, but the other one was ripped because I drove on it. So I actually show you a picture right down here right now. And so what I did was I went to get my air tire replaced for the spare tire, and at the gas station, and then my sister and them all helped me move and get the fuck out of there. And to all, like I said, all his friends, DT's friends, or anyone that sees this, maybe his mom, if he somehow comes across this video, I'm very sorry, and I'm sorry, but your son's a piece of shit. And I'm not here to start a drama or controversy. I just need to let people know what has happened. It has mentally fucked me up a lot, and I'm finally recovering from it, and talking to the camera like this helps. And I wanted to turn him into the police, but there's nothing I can do. There's not enough evidence. I have text messages, but that's not going to be enough to overcome it. And I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but this is the whole story of what happened, and this is what brings me back to here. So that is the whole story of what happened, and I am super glad to get it off my chest, and I'm not being dramatic or nothing. This is all 100% true. And all my coworkers at the other place, I'm sorry, and I hope you guys understand why it has happened. Alright, I got one more thing to read out to you, and this is the screenshot that I found of him when I was living there, talking to, like I said, a girl that he used to hit on a while back. Revisited her through text message, and she put him on blast and exposed him. So I'm gonna read those screenshots to you right now. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So what he said to this chick said, so is it kind of bad that I just want to hardcore fuck against the wall? Yeah, it's pretty bad, right? And then this girl clever replies with, is it bad I want to hardcore slam your face into a wall until you're dead because I want to? And he goes, sounds pretty kinky. Is it bad that I kind of want that now? Can you fuck me in the ass while you're doing it? Make me feel like a pretty lady? And then this girl says, I don't fuck pedophiles. Don't act like I forgot. He goes, you're not a pedophile. He was pretty much trying to cover up the whole situation. And then this girl replies with, you best stop before I blast you on Facebook. And then he goes, blank had a 16-year-old sister. Does that ring a bell? And then of course this is know-it-all attitude. DT, he said, well, let's see about that situation. You're classified as a pedo unless you were caught, and I wasn't caught, so your argument is null and void. And then she did the hardcore LMAO. And I'm just here like, a pedophile is a pedophile whether they're caught or not. If you are attracted to children and shit physically and stuff, and you're trying to have you can't control your urges, and you don't care that you're acting on those urges, dude, you're a piece of shit. Like, I know people that probably could have those thoughts of like being attracted to like minors and shit. But if you're willing to get help, and I can understand that to that extent, but I can't. Yeah, I have no respect for people like that. If they're going to act on it and they just don't care. Like I said, this dude has a kid himself, and he literally is acting on it, and he has no respect for his kid or for himself or just for anyone that he hurts. And I'm going to read some of the comments on this Facebook post that he done. And it's bad because I think some of these are victims of people he's done with. Still a pedo if you didn't get caught, still fucking kids, which is my point exactly. And of course people are saying this dude's sick. And then there's one that really stood out to me. He goes, I swear this fucking guy blasted his ass too from the last time he did this with you. He would literally come to my house and brag about how he did her at the park. And I'm like, wow, that he's done that before. That right there is a victim, another victim in proof. It's so sad because he's been obsessed with me for years and has constantly been trying to fuck me since I was 17. And yeah, so yeah, that's him. That's DT for you, and that's my piece of shit toxic roommate. That is a predator and a pedophile. He has not been identified as a sex offender, but I hope someone reaches out and reports him, because I can't. I don't live in the state anymore, but I hope with all this proof and all that we get this awareness around for all the people that know him in my neighborhood. If you're seeing this on Facebook or whatever, wherever it's shared with, that we need to get this dude to jail. And I don't care if he sees it, honestly. I'm sorry, but you fully deserve it. And I'm not looking to start drama or expose. I'm just want to say that I don't have respect for predators or pedophiles or people like that. Because if I can say no to a girl that's underage, but I liked her for who she was, but that age gap is no fucking joke. Say no. Whatever you do, don't ever convince yourself to date anyone that's a minor that could get you in trouble. Not even talk as a friend, but like I said, it's only fine if you're going if her parents like invite over to like just stay for like a thunderstorm, that's fine. But no, not what he's doing. I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but I'm done rambling. And yeah, that is the whole story. Anyways, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed and listened to my story, and I'm sorry. It's been a really serious video, but I have to put it out there, and I thought it would be a great idea to address, and it's some very entertaining and very engaging story and very interesting. And I have some more stories that are more upbeat and more crazy, but not as serious and depressing as this one. And yeah, I'm sorry if it wasn't as funny, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm Amaryx, and I'll see you guys later.